Hi there, so today we're going to be taking apart this 8GB Hitachi Microdrive. I haven't really researched how to open this up, so I'm probably going to have to go along the way and figure out how to open this, but this should be pretty interesting because this tiny little package, about the size of a compact flash card, actually holds a mechanical hard drive. When I hold it up and I tilt it a little bit, I think you can see that there's a little circular indentation here, which is probably something to do with the drive mechanism for the actual platter or maybe platters that are in this hard drive. Alright, so let's get right into the hard drive. So what I can tell, there's two screws up here with a 3-pointed groove. So I just happen to have a screw bit for that from one of these many screws in one kind of deals. So it's just, one of these things that are handy to have when you want to disassemble these electronic components. Alright. Trying to open it up. I hope that fits. Because it's tiny. Unfortunately, I've already hit a snag. The problem is that the screwdriver I have is too big for the screw hole over here. So I think you can see it's kind of already smashed that screw a little bit. So what I'm going to have to do is try to find another screwdriver tip that's actually smaller so that it can fit into that hole a little bit better. Alright, so it's been a few days since I attempted to open this Microdrive because I didn't have a screwdriver that would fit the screws over here. Well, now I actually have one. I actually got this at Actuator for 750 yen, so it actually cost more than the hard drive itself, but now I should be able to take the screws off so we can take a look inside. So let's go ahead and do that. So maybe I'll just hold it this way so you can see that the screw will, in fact, come off this time. Yep. Oops. Ooh, the screw just came off. Like that. And I'll do the next one over here. Just make it so they can see it. Just takes a few turns and the screw comes right off. Oh, it's magnetized, so it's just going to stick on there. Anyway, that's the two screws. I'm going to guess that this is going to liberate this circuit board so we can flip it over and open. No. Alright. So my next guess is that under this piece of sticker, there's probably going to be more screws that we can get access to so that we can move this board off. So let's go ahead and try doing that. Alright, so I've got some pliers so we can peel this sticker off, or maybe just peel it off so we can look inside. Alright, it's coming off a little bit at a time. Okay. Alright, so I tried looking around for some information on the chips that are on here, and the one on the right over here says A gear. I really couldn't find much information about it other than the fact that apparently it's a company that was spun off of Lucent back in early 2000s, and in late 2000s the company was incorporated into LSI Technologies. I'm just going to guess it's probably like a disk controller of some sort, along with this Marvell chip over here. That's probably like an ARM chip or something. So it's some kind of controller up here as well. Alright, so let's continue our quest. So let's go ahead and just get these screws out of the way. Well, that was kind of interesting. That last screw that just came out was... it's about that length, while the other screws from 3 other holes were this length. So yeah, I think you can see that the length of the screws are quite a bit different. So we pretty much removed all the screws we can see from the circuit board side, so let's see if this can actually be removed. Can it? So yeah, that... okay, it might come off. But looks like this side still doesn't want to come off so easily. I wonder what's going on. I'm going to have to look at it a little closer. I'm just hoping all it needs is a little bit of encouragement to come off. Maybe just sticking screwdriver in there a little bit. Hoping that'll pry it open, but I think you can see the PCBs flexing when I try to pry it open, but probably there's something over on this side that's preventing this board from actually coming off. Not quite sure what it is. In any case, this piece is getting a little annoying, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it off. And it's just a sticker they can peel right off, like this. Okay. Wow, that's just a really cute little hard drive. Let's compare it with a SD card I have over here. Take a look at that. Just a little bit bigger than an SD card. That's a really tiny hard drive. Anyway, let's see if we can pry this circuit board off. And I can actually see that you can kind of see the inside as I pull this. Oh, can you actually see the disc in there? Oh no. But yeah, you can actually see there's something inside there if we take this circuit board off. So it's going to be a little bit careful as I do this. Alright, so I ended up just gently trying to pry the circuit board off by putting the flathead screwdriver between this gap, and eventually the circuit board just popped right off. So we'll go ahead and see what's inside. Right. Okay, the circuit board comes right off. There's no ribbon cables or anything. If you saw my video where I took apart a enterprise SAS hard drive, you would have seen the exact same thing that we see here. There's basically a little, there's a bunch of pins over here that connect the circuit board to the hard drive over here. And on the hard drive side, there's a little matching socket type deal for these pins to settle into so that an electrical connection can be made between the circuit board and the hard drive. Alright, so I guess the next step is to try to peel off this black film and see what's underneath. Okay, nothing really interesting, it's just a black film that probably insulates the metal casing and the circuit board. Alright, so next step in getting into this hard drive, a little bit of detective work because I can't see any screws right off the top that might get this case open. There are a few hints. There's a few places where there's a little silver sticker covering up a few holes. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but they might be hiding some screws in there. So there's a couple on the top and two over here of a pretty big size and a couple more here and here. And in addition to that, I really couldn't find any seam along the side of the hard drive. So I was kind of wondering how this case would open up. However, I noticed that this seems to be some kind of tape. And as I thought, I found a little edge of the tape over here that might hold a clue as to how this is kept together. So let's go ahead and try to see if we can get this tape off. Here we go. So it seems like this tape is going to come off, and yeah, there's the seam. Okay, we can see that the hard drive can open up right here, and it looks like it's starting to open up. I wonder if there's any screws holding it together, or if it's just that piece of tape that's holding it together. Alright, so it seems like there's more things that are keeping this hard drive together, so I'm going to see if I can find any screws under these suspicious stickers. Okay, so just by looking at the shape of these things, this is obviously going to be a spindle where the platter is going to reside, and the motor to run the spindle is probably right in here. This is probably going to be where the actuator actually is, so there's probably going to be a screw here that holds the actuator in place. So that's probably not going to be the piece that's holding this hard drive cover together. So my guess is going to be that there's going to be a screw here. Oh, yeah, I tore that. Yeah, this is obviously not going to go back together really well. Anyway, let's see if there's anything hidden under here. And is there anything hidden under there? No, maybe not. Okay. Oh, so right on the other side of that is another suspicious looking sticker. Let's go ahead and take that off. And I'm probably just going to tear right into it like I did up there. And aha! So this time around there's actually a screw there. Let's go ahead and remove that. And it looks like the same type of screw, so hopefully I'll be able to take it off. And... okay, is it coming off? Didn't seem like the screw's coming out, but there is progress in the front of that cover coming off, so it might actually be working. So, maybe it is actually coming out. Yeah, it seems like that cover is starting to come off. Well, meanwhile, I see another suspicious looking sticker over here that probably is hiding a screw as well, so take a look at that as well. You can kind of see the shape of the screw in there. And there it goes. So let's see if that screw will be cooperative in getting out of that hole. Oh, yeah, it's starting to get loose. Oh, came out, awesome. So hopefully this side will be just as cooperative. That screw is not being very cooperative, unfortunately. However, it seems like the cover is starting to come off, so maybe we can pry it open, and with a little bit of luck, maybe that screw will just pop right off. So let's see if we can start taking this cover off, or prying this cover off. Whoop. At least this side is coming off. Like that. Okay. Oh, you can see the platter in there. Yep, I see the platter now. Yeah, this side's still not coming off. There's still a little bit of gunk from that tape that's making it sticky as I touch this, which is kind of annoying. And yeah, that screw is still in the thread. The cover's not coming off. We're very close to seeing the inside of the hard drive, so I'm just hoping this screw would be a little more cooperative. Alright, so I was finally able to get that final screw out. Basically what I ended up doing was I just jammed this flathead screwdriver in there and rotated it, and the screw just popped out. So now we can take the top cover of this Microdrive off. Let's see what's in there in its full view. Whoops. Oh, okay. Alright, so that's inside of a Hitachi, formerly IBM, Microdrive. And it seems like I got the flathead screwdriver stuck into that strong magnet in there. Let's try to get that out. Wink. Alright. So yeah, I'm just pretty much at a loss of words because this is just amazing to take a look at, because it's just so tiny, and it's a mechanical hard drive in the size of what's almost the size of an SD card. Look at that. mind-boggling. This is just amazing technology. So yeah, I'm not going to take this apart any further because I really don't have the confidence that I can disassemble this any further because it's just so tiny and it's going to probably just break it at trying to take it apart. I guess I'll take my chances and see if I can take this off so that we can actually look at the actuator that moves the actuator arm, which moves the head on top of the platter. So it seems like this piece over here just might be held down by magnetic forces because when I put this flathead screwdriver in there and rotate, it seems like it's just moving out of its place. So I might be able to move it right off using some tweezers. So wish me luck. Oh yeah. Alright, so it did come right off. And we can see the actuator right in there. While we're at it, we lost this piece over here that used to be right up here, but that was being held in place by one of the screws that was holding the cover of the hard drive in place. So they were using one screw for two purposes, which is pretty clever because they really don't have a lot of space to work with. One interesting thing to note is that the plate that was sitting on top of the actuator over here does not have a magnet. In the previous video where I took apart the Enterprise SAS hard drive, there was actually a strong magnet on this side as well, but on this Microdrive, you can see that there's a magnet right there, but there's no magnet on the top side. So that piece right over here appears to be part of the drive. Okay, hold on. Appears to be part of this locking mechanism for the actuator. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to try to use tweezers so it doesn't move around so much. Yeah, I don't know if you can quite catch this, but there's a piece that goes right into the actuator like that. And let's see. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the hard drive. This camera is having a really hard time focusing because it's so tiny. Anyway, I think you can see that this is a single platter hard drive, obviously, for this very, very thin drive. And you can see the coils that are part of the actuator that pretty much controls where this head goes. And the head itself is right up here, parked in this little plastic area. I don't know if we can get really close up to that at all. Let's see. So let's try to take a look at the read-write head. Right now, the read-write head is parked in this little white area. And this white area has like a little thing sticking out this way, such that the top side of the head and the bottom side of the head don't touch each other when it's in this parking zone over here. Or at least that's what it looks like to me. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't looked up the details about this drive, but that's kind of what it looks like. So now I have the lock for this mechanism out of the way. I should be able to push this arm so that the read-write head can go onto the platter. So let's try to do that. Alright, so let's attempt to do this. Push this way. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the head wants to go any further. Probably the hard drive has to be spinning for that head to actually go into the platter, because once there's enough wind and stuff in here, the head will be able to actually fly on top of this cushion of air between the platter and the head. So right now, since the disk is not moving, probably this head is just crashed into the platter. So let's put him back in somehow. Yeah, it's kind of stuck. Yeah, let's push back. Alright, so the head is pushed back in. Probably damaged it along the way, but then again, I'm not expecting this to go back in one piece. Alright, so aside from that, there's the little electronics over here that takes care of probably the control of the actuator over here, and to take care of the reading and writing of the data from the head onto the platter. And interestingly, there's actually a bare die chip over here. Not exactly sure what it does, but it's probably the guts of the electronics that takes care of all the controlling over here. Not exactly sure why they would use a bare die chip here, but maybe size constraints made it so that a fully packaged chip would not be able to fit in here, so they figured that mounting a bare die chip onto a circuit board would allow them to save just enough space to fit this in here. And maybe there was some weight concerns as well. Maybe the extra plastic that would cover this die would have weighed more than what IBM or Hitachi would have wanted this microdrive to weigh. Alright, so that's pretty much what I have for today. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd appreciate it if you could get a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comments, please leave it in the comments section and I'll try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. Also, you might be interested in watching me tear down a 2.5-inch 15,000 RPM hard drive. I'll include that in the recommended videos right over here. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.